Hello everyone and welcome back to Minecraft. I am of course William Strife and this is Twin Towns, a Patreon supported show where I build two separate codependent cities. Well, I say cities. Oh my god, I'm lucky that it didn't shoot at me. It's looking the other way. Okay. I'm lucky. Oh my god, I can't think right now. Okay. Twin Towns, where I build two codependent towns, one in the overworld and one in the nether. And now that I'm looking at that tower over there, which I have since finished, like I did the design on the wall based on what I was doing down at the bottom when I laid the initial foundation, and it really doesn't work on the wall all that well. I might have to go in and like rip some of that cobblestone out and replace it. That's gonna be a huge pain though. But since I was working on this last time, guys, you know what? Let's equip my armor just in case old Screechy Boy decides to ruin my day. Since the last time that since the last episode, I've finished off the tower. I put a roof on it. I got the crenellations on outside. You know, the design of the wall needs a little bit of work. I probably should have thought about that a bit better. It looks better on the inside than it does on the outside, but yeah. And the smelting operation is in place. Oh, I put this here so I could just park myself inside of the tower here and not get shot at by ghasts. I've done tons and tons of mining because, as you can see, you know, I've got nearly 3 full chests worth of bricks, and these things are still ticking away, you know, one at a time, slowly and steadily. Man, I'm surprised. I figured that these would be completely, shot by now. It looks like the buckets of lava that I put in there was a... Well, it looks a whole lot like it looks like the flame UI isn't updating. That's odd. That must be a problem, because I logged out of the server not too long ago. Anyways, so here's the deal, guys. I've done the proper heavy lifting. Now I can actually sit down, and I can start working over in the overworld. I can start working on Red Rock Redoubt, you know? Just move those bricks right there. So... I'm gonna have to make several trips back and forth to get all of the bricks that I need over into the overworld, and that's good enough. I need one extra slot in order to do some crafting. I'm gonna need to have a, you know, just basically plunk down an enormous storage chest, which I think I'll do that right about now. Alright, there we go. I've got my storage chests. I'm all ready to go. I've got as many bricks as I can hold right now, but that's not all. If I head over to the overworld... Oh, great, we got pig dicks coming through. As you can see, I've done lots and lots of work. You saw this last time, how I cleared a whole lot of land. Still haven't done terribly large amounts of terraforming since the last episode, but I did come over here and take the... Because I've been growing little bits of netherwort here and there over in the small garden. And I collected up all that soul sand initially, like enough soul sand to get my first set of farms set up, which I planned on trying to get done today. But, you know, I've been coming over here, and a little bit at a time, I've been, you know, smacking down the fully grown bits of netherwort. This is a temporary field. This is a functional field, but it is very temporary. It is very ugly. It is very manual labor intensive. I plan on doing something more focused on redstone. So, the problem that I'm kind of faced with is where to build the first field, because this is the only location where the field for netherwort would really fit, because it's completely cleared off. There's no, like, there's no extra terraforming to do in this direction. The only thing I'd have to do is, like, try to, you know, well, it's not really the right word to use, but prettify the retention wall over here, which is, you know, I can and cannot do that, you know. It's something I can do. It's not something I'm required to do. So, I'm gonna have to do some terraforming of the hills over here, but overall, I kind of feel like doing this, building the field over on this side is going to be the most valuable thing for me to do. So, yeah. I think that's, I mean, there's not much else for me to say. This is going to be a big, long construction project. Also very intricate, because, oh, this is another thing that I had to modify. So, I realized that I misplaced, like, one stone over here, right? Like, I miscounted this, this side of the field by 1, so it turned out oblong, okay? It turned out oblong in one direction, the yard, because I miscounted my blocks. Of course I miscounted my blocks. Like, how often does that happen to all of us, where you think that you got your counting right, and you didn't? So I extended out the portal house by 1 block on this side, and by 1 block on this side to make it a 9x9 instead of an 8x8, and, you know, I modified it and everything. The good news is that I'll be able to put a 3x3 portal on the top of the tower whenever I'm finished building the central tower, but that also meant that I had to readjust the fields and whatnot. Anyways, yeah. What do you say we stop, I stop gassing, and I start getting to work on building this, well, you know what? I'm not going to start building right away. Instead, I'm just going to remove these fields, and then we'll get on to what I'm going to build this episode. Righto. So, as you can see, there's a huge littering of torches all over the place. So, I'm going to try to set this up for you guys so you understand what I'm doing and where I'm going with this entire project. So, I've counted things out here. The ring, as it were, around the main base. First off, the entire structure, it's centered on this one torch, which is centered on the middle plank of the you know, oblong 9x9 center, you know, safe house right now, which is going to be the tower later on. So this is the center block, and it counts out in equal directions every way. So the idea is that you have a center block, then you count 3, which is going to be the field of soul sand the nether wart is growing on. Then you have a wall to separate one field to the next. So you have 2 strips of soul sand, a wall, 2 more strips of soul sand, except there's no block in between, then a wall, and right here on the end, I have, you know, for the other dimension, I've counted it out. This is where a fence will be for the catching. This is going to be the collection trough at the front, because this is going to be a water harvested farm. And then this represents the tiers of soul sand. So you have 4 blocks of soul sand, then you go up a level, another 4 blocks of soul sand, then you go up another level, and another 4 blocks of soul sand. Then you have the mechanics and gutty work to, you know, dispense the water, as it were, and followed by the back wall that's going to cover up the gutty works. So you can kind of maybe get an idea out of that. Some of you are probably more confused than informed at this moment, but suffice to say, I'm going to need some stone, I'm going to need lots of nether brick and whatnot, and then I'm going to need some redstone to get this job done. So, to start things off, oh, you know what? I'm going to need some stone. We're going to work on the middle section of this build first. Okay, here we go, stone. I only need a little bit of it, not too much. So, to start things off, we want to start on the middle section. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a fair number of nether bricks here, which I'm gonna be doing lots of this. But the other thing that I'm gonna need is plenty of the red nether brick as well. So I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of this stuff, and then we'll get to building. Alright, I've made what should be the basic of the basic materials, guys. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, and I'm just going to dig myself a trench, right in line with this center block, because we're going to work on the center tier first. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we've got the 4-block trench running here, and we're going to take some redstone and just slap that down in there. Next, I'm going to need a little bit of cobblestone to cover this up. So the first thing is I want to lay the center block, as it were, that's going to serve as the place where stuff goes correct, I think? I'm not entirely certain what I'm trying to say here. Anyways, so we'll go ahead and pop the button on. This is going to be the button that'll trigger the fields in total, okay? So I've hidden the redstone under there, and I'm going to go ahead and dig this trench back a little bit further. I don't know how far back it needs to go, in all honesty, so I'm just going to dig it that far for now. So the next thing that I got to do is I got to get the soul sand in, okay? So as we saw with the guide over there, this is supposed to be the catch trench, right? So it's going to be 3 blocks. Okay, so there's the catch trench, and then we need to lay down soul sand, which, of course, I forgot to grab. Alright, soul sand acquired. So the nether wart field is supposed to be 3 blocks wide. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And it's supposed to be 4 blocks long. So 3, and 4. Okay, there we go. So, the next step is to raise it up to the next tier, because it's 4 blocks, and then raise it up, and then put another 4 blocks down. So, we'll do that. Just lay a platform of cobblestone, and then put 4 more blocks of soul sand on. And then we'll do that again, one more time. Alright, there we go. So, we have 4 blocks running. Then we go up a tier, 4 blocks, go up a tier, and 4 more blocks. So now, this is the basic design for how the fields are supposed to look. Now all we gotta do is replicate this, just do it again, but do it on the left side of this redstone. Or this red brick, this red nether brick. There we go. Okay, there we go. So, both tiers have now been built up. The next thing that I want to do is I want to, well, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna come in here, and I'm gonna run this redstone wire back. This is good enough. It's up on the right level here. So, the next thing to do is build up the towers, as it were, that are going to deposit the water onto the crops to harvest them and wash them out. You know, like I said, this is going to be a water harvested farm. But before I do that, I think something that I want to do is... I'm going to take a bit of cobblestone here, just to save resources, since nobody's going to see that block. I'm going to come up here like this. Here we go. Oh, no, wait. It doesn't need to come up like this. What am I thinking? Okay, wait. Bah, I don't have enough string, but I'm lucky. I'm lucky, guys. I lucked out. I can make 1 dispenser at the very least before going forward. So I just need a bow, a redstone torch, and a bit of cobblestone. Oh, was it not a torch? Was it a bit of redstone dust? Yes, it was redstone dust. Okay, so we have a dispenser. I'm gonna need ultimately 6 of them to make all of these fields work properly, but for now, this will do. And actually, it's probably a good idea for me to stay out during the middle of the night, because I need to kill spiders now, which was not something that I was expecting to have to do. So anyways, let's go ahead and just take the dispenser here. We'll also take the redstone dust and the redstone torches that I've got. And we're going to go ahead and, well, first off, we're going to go ahead and put in the dispenser up at the top here. So, I want the dispenser to go, come on. Oh, for God's sake. All right. There we go. So, I want the dispenser to go right here. So, we'll go ahead and set it up so that I can put it in, because you can put dispensers in facing any multiple directions. So, we want it facing forward. Oh, actually, that's the wrong spot. Now that I actually look at it. We want the dispenser right there. And I'm going to go ahead and use some normal nether brick right there to put underneath it. We'll remove the back behind it like so. Okay, so the next step here is to power this thing. So I need a redstone torch on this brick. So we're going to go ahead and pop that down. All right, you heard the click. It's working. The next thing is to power up that block to make an inversion chain. And then we just need to bring the redstone up to power that. So now the button will fire, it'll come up this wire, and then, you know, invert that torch, which will change the charging and make this thing fire up at the top. So the other thing that we have to do is come over again and do pretty much the exact same thing on the other side, even though I don't have the dispenser to make things properly fire off. So it takes 4 torches, you know, and a dispenser to make this work. Really wish that I had string to make another dispenser for the other side. I'm very, you know, thin on resources. Usually I plan these things a lot better, or I'm more prepared and or ready. But here's the point, okay? This is the basic gutty work. It's just missing 1 dispenser on the other side. Everything from here on out is basically... And that would fire it if it had anything... Well, you know what? I've got a hunk of flint here. Let's go ahead and just pop a hunk of flint in there. And if I fire this off... See? It spat that flint out. So it's working just fine the way that it's supposed to. And the thing about dispensers is that if you put a bucket of water in there, it'll put the water out. And if it gets another signal, it'll pick the water back up. That's the whole point of what we're doing here. So, what we need to do next is just basically hide what's going on over here. And these columns right here, these will serve as the method by which the redstone will be carried backward to the fields over on this side. So the next step is to just cover these things over and basically beautify the whole thing. So let's get that done. Oh, wait. Alright, guys, so I said that I would come through and beautify everything, but I decided to lay out the gut work first, and also spend some time hunting spiders and whatnot in the night out in the prairie, and my god, I almost died. I got myself filled full of holes, as you can see here, and most of my armor is... Oh my god, it is so busted up at this point. But I have laid the basics for the other two fields, and I also... I managed to find a nearly broken bow while I was out in the field, as well as 15 bits of string, so I'll be able to make enough dispensers here. So, as you can see, I've laid out the basic gut work, which, this separation wall, which, as you can see, just basically, it's built up where there's empty space, as it were. I think it's built up where there's empty space. Or did I screw up a little bit? I think I screwed up a little bit here. I'll have to grab my materials. Actually, let me go ahead and dump this stuff inside of the house here, and, well, actually, you know what? We'll make all the bows that I need, and then we'll go ahead and make the rest of the dispensers that I need. And I'm gonna go ahead and dump this stuff in the chests over here, because I really need to. Uh-oh, guys. It looks like it started to rain. Not sleeping in 2 nights. It appears to do that sometimes, you know. Oh boy. Well, let's hope that none of those wraiths or whatever they're called come after me. Anyways, I've got all of the materials here. Hopefully I have enough soul sand. Something tells me that I am short of being able to completely finish these fields, but we'll see in a minute here. I mean, I'm about to get the moment of truth. While I'm sitting up front, I'm going to go ahead and finish some of the beautification here, which includes replacing the catch trough down here, where the nether wart will fall into whenever the water harvesting functions. Go ahead and empty that out. Put some slabs in to make it a little bit more pretty. Now, the next step is to fill in the fields on either side, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll put the dispensers in, and we'll get to the beautification, right? Okay, guys, so I'm pretty much done here, but before I cover over this other field here, which I think I might just barely have enough soul sand, that or I'm going to come up just a little bit short here. I just want to make a very clear example of how this works. So, you saw me construct the middle field, which, you know, has the depositing going on. Straight down the middle. But for these over here, where on the right I have finished the field and it's 6 consecutive blocks without a strip down the middle, the way that it works is under these, you know, central dividers here between the fields. The redstone, as you can see, button redstone runs straight back. There needs to be a repeater somewhere in there, and then it just runs back in an L, and then you get your inversion chain right up the back. Not too much different from what I did in the middle, just the fact that it comes off over the side, and you also need a repeater, because it will not reach the far block on the left field, and the far block on the right for the right field. But the whole point is you have your buttons all concentrated in one area with little concern or worry, and you can control each field individually. So I just wanted to make that clear before I go and cover this up here. Alright guys, we are, for all intents and purposes, pretty much done. We are pretty much done. I'll go ahead and give you a look at the back wall here in just a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and grab up the, whoops. Might want to be careful about what I'm doing with the water here. There we go. Don't pick up the water too fast. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the back side of the farms here. I like the way that it looks. It's got a little bit of depth at the top. It's got some popping contrast at the back. Admittedly, I don't want gray cobblestone behind that fence. I wish it was a obsidian instead, but I can come back and fix that at a later time, and that would be obsidian both behind it and below the fencing, as well as over here, but yeah. And, of course, around the front here, everything should be ready to go and working. All I gotta do is come up to the back wall here. Ugh, getting stuck in soul sand. And put water buckets in all of the dispensers. Nothing should spawn along the top edge of this either. If anything does spawn along the top edge of this farm, then there's nothing... It's no concern of... It's no trouble to, like, put down a couple of half slabs. Because I think that there are nether brick half slabs. If there aren't, there are nether... I can put nether brick fencing up here. I know that we're on 113 right now. 114 is right around the corner, you know, so... they're going to add half slabs for almost every type of block in the next version. But if I smash that button, then you can see right there, it comes down. And that is going to flood me out down here because it hasn't been properly stopped by the fence. I probably should have put the fence in first. Oh, it took the button off too. Ah, butts. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix that. Okay, I've got this spruce fencing, which I love the way that it looks. It takes on the look of the logs in this version. So, both buttons came off. Holy butts. Okay, so if I hit that button, there you go, the water comes down, that'll automatically break and harvest all of the nether wart, and it'll end up right there, and it's close enough for me to just walk by it against the fence, and I'll be able to pick it all up. The whole point of this farm is to cut out half of the work, which is the harvesting part. The planting part, there's no real way for me to replace that without messing around with NPCs and AI and whatnot, or, you know, installing a mod, but because this is all vanilla, I don't want it to be that way. So the last thing for me to do is just plant up these fields, so I'll go ahead and get to that, and, you know what? Now, guys, is the time for me to say goodbye, because this is the end of an episode, another episode of Twin Towns in the bag! We have built, and I am currently planting up the first of many nether wart fields. This is actually a big part of the overall construction of the facility. It is the process of building these fields, and then, well, all I gotta do is build 4 more of these. This has been a huge freaking task, so I'm not going to focus on building these in any other episodes. You'll see these, you know, popping up slowly, one and a little bit at a time, and I still have more terraforming to do. The whole point is that I want this facility to look really cool and really amazing whenever you approach it from the outside, which, you know, I need to get a proper, you know, highway system in the overworld set up so that you've got an idea of how far apart these towns that I build everywhere are. Anyways, this has been another episode of Minecraft Twin Towns with me, William Strife, a Patreon-supported show. Anything that I get from you guys, it helps to feed me so that I can continue doing this entertainment for all of you. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again in the next episode. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy. I'm William Strife, and I'll see you next time. Bye!